Cake, muffin, pastries, Monginis. Hello and welcome to Monginis. Myself Mr. Mongini, and I'm more than happy to share my experience with all of you about this beautiful and alluring baker's kit. I'm sure you are equally excited to know all about this box, right from unboxing it till finally we make a beautiful, attractive and a pre-processing cake. So without wasting any more minute, let's start. Cake, muffin, pastries, Monginis. These are the stuffs that you will find inside the baker's kit. So let's see what is what. Firstly, as soon as you open the box, you will find this leaflet. Obviously, you have scanned this QR code, which is how you are watching this video now. But if in case you have missed the other side of this leaflet, let me tell you that as soon as you flip it, you will find another QR code which will lead you to a very interesting page giving you all the informations about how you can celebrate your loved one's birthday in a very unique and interesting way, no matter if your invitees are not able to join you and they want to join you from their home itself. Now let's proceed to the materials that will be required for making a wonderful cake. Let's start with this sponge. This is sponge and also gâteau in French. It is the base of the cake. Let me also tell you about the perishability and preserving factors of all these items if you are planning to make this cake after 2 or maximum 3 days. In that case, you are supposed to know which items to be kept inside the fridge and which not in the fridge, that is at the room temperature. So this sponge, we are supposed to keep it inside the fridge as it is with the packing. Don't open the pack. Let it be in the pack, keep it inside the fridge, and whenever it is required to make the cake, remove it, open the pack and start making the cake. Next we have these cones which are made of rich buttercream. This white cream, it is a layering cream we'll be using between the slices of sponge, and these colorful cones we'll be using to decorate our cakes to make it designer and outstanding. All these 3 cones are supposed to be kept outside the fridge, not inside the fridge, that is at the room temperature. And this 4th cone is a chocolate ganache that we'll be using for coating the cake. And trust me, it is yummier than it looks because it is made of a unique recipe of Dutch chocolate which we use for making Dutch pastries and cakes. Again, this chocolate ganache you are supposed to keep inside the fridge. But whenever you're planning to make the cake, remove it from the fridge 15 to 20 minutes prior and keep it in the room temperature so that it comes back to its original form, that is semi-liquid, and that will be easy for you to apply it on the cake. These are the 2 wooden knives. One will use to spread the layering cream between the 2 slices of the sponge, and other to spread chocolate ganache all over the sponge for finishing. This is a vermicelli. We'll be using it to give a nice texture to the cake. We can either apply it on the whole cake or on the sides of the cake or on the top of the cake, whichever way you want. Lastly, we'll be using these tiny little pretty leaves which we call as garnishers. We use it for final toppings on the cake. So finally, have a look at this chart which will show you which items to be kept inside the fridge and what at the room temperature. So these were the items we'll be using for making the cake. Besides this, we have kept few surprises for you inside the box as a token of love from Monginis. This is a multi-utility pen and its primary use is obviously writing, but you can also use it as mobile stand. Yes. We are so sure that you are going to be an amazing chef after making this cake. So we certify you in advance as Little Baker of Monginis by giving you this certificate. You will also find this mask, hairnet and this apron which will make you look like a professional baker. So don't forget to wear all this before you start making the cake. Have you ever heard about Mongiland? If not, then let me tell you that it's a fantastic place made inside the Monginis cake factory where children like you, they come to visit the factory and have more fun, more education, more knowledge about Monginis and about the cakes. So if you are curious to know more about Mongiland and how to visit Mongiland, just go through this brochure which you will find inside the box. I want you to be very energetic and enthusiastic while you make your own cake. So for that, inside the box we have sent this Chat Delight potato shells and flavorsome packaged cake so that you can fill your tummy and flow your creative juices inside your brain faster. So finally, I have introduced you with all the elements inside the box, and I hope now you are ready to make the cake, isn't it? So let's start, but before that, we will say our magic mantra, which is cake, muffin, pastries. Yes!
Let's open the mouth of the cream cones using scissors. Vermicelli packet, we need to cut it and put it in a bowl or a box something.
So before we start making the cake, we'll go with our regular hygiene practice, that is, we'll sanitize our hands so that all the bacteria and germs in our hand, they'll die. Okay, so rub it until it's dry. So now the very first step, we'll lift our slice of the sponge. We'll keep the upper slice down and the lower slice up so that we can pour this layering cream all over the sponge. Make sure while you press the cone, you have to press it from the top, this way. Don't use it like a pen, or else the cream will come up from the top. Spread it all across the sponge. For some finishing, we'll use this wooden knife and we'll spread it.
Let's add a little bit of chocolate ganache in between the layers as well to give more flavor of a Dutch chocolate cake.
Now we'll keep this sponge to its original place, and the lower sponge will again take it to the top, and we'll keep it on the slice. Okay, now we'll apply this chocolate ganache to coat the whole cake with this chocolate. I hope you have kept the chocolate ganache outside the fridge for 15 to 20 minutes at least in a room temperature, not in the AC, in the room temperature. Spread it all over the cake. None of the sides should be left open, because if any side is left open, then the air will pass through it and the sponge will become hard and dry, which won't taste good. Now use the other wooden knife. Don't use the same knife that you have used for layering cream, because it will mix the color white and brown. We don't want that, right? It should look even and finished. Let's just clean the plate with the tissue paper nicely so that your final product should look very finished. Now next, vermicelli is to apply it on the side walls, which will give a nice texture to the side walls. Now let's make this cake more colorful and designer. How? We'll use our colorful icing cones. There are two color cones. You can use it whichever way you want. Explore your own creativity, make some patterns, anything. You can even write your names. Right now, just for a reference, I'll make some design. I'm not very good at it, but I'm sure you'll make far more better than this. Again, remember, while pressing, you have to press it from the top. Don't use it like a pen. Okay, and remember I told you that this is buttercream and you are not supposed to keep it inside the fridge. You have to keep it in the room temperature. And now let's make a nice pattern. Now I'll use the other color so that our cake looks multicolored. Sometimes it is very time consuming, but when the cake is ready, you will find it worth giving the time. You know what you can do? You can make a rough design on the paper before you start. You can make a design on the paper that how the top of the cake should look like, and then you can start, which will give you a rough idea of how your cake should look like. Because if you have not imagined what you are going to make, the outcome will be really a mess and you won't be able to undo it. So before you start decorating the cake, you can just try it on the paper. I am quite loving this. I know it's not that good, but I'm enjoying it, and I expect you also to just have fun while making the cake. The most important thing is that you enjoy making the cake. Finally, we'll use the garnishers, that is this leaves. Now whichever you want, you can make it stand by putting it on the side walls this way. So finally a cake is ready. Does it look yummy? Yes, but it is only for my tummy. You have to make your own cake and then enjoy it. All the best. Cake, muffin, pastries.